All right, y'all, we back with another reaction right here on ABP Reactions. And right now, man, it's getting spicy with this David case, man. My boy's a sicko. A lot of evidence came out today, what they have on him, and it is sickening, man. Let's react.
After months of secrecy, prosecutors have just revealed brand new, never before seen, never before heard alleged details in the horrific killing and disposal of a child's body in the David case. Alleged ongoing sexual abuse of a child, a vicious stabbing, a grisly alleged dismemberment with a chainsaw. The allegations against singer-songwriter David are on full display in this new court filing, providing graphic new details about what LA prosecutors claim he allegedly did to this 14-year-old girl and why. 21-year-old David Anthony Burke, the singer known as David, who skyrocketed to fame with songs like Romantic Homicide, has had a spectacular fall from grace. Months after 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found dead, her mutilated body reportedly found in David's Tesla at a Hollywood tow yard. Prosecutors have now charged David with first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, and unlawful mutilation of human remains. He's entered a not guilty plea. It's important to remember that he is innocent until proven guilty. I say that especially because it can be very hard to remember when we're about to get into these disturbing new alleged details that were revealed by prosecutors. And this is big because there has been so much secrecy to this case. I mean, remember, we just saw the autopsy report last week after it was sealed. In fact, we actually thought that we would have to wait for a preliminary hearing to learn any new details in this case. The preliminary hearing, of course, is where prosecutors try to present sufficient evidence to say, hey, look, we have enough evidence to move this case forward towards trial. And during an arraignment last week, his attorneys told the judge they wanted to get to that preliminary hearing right away.
They was trying to call their bluff. They thought they didn't have nothing, but little did they know. They got a whole lot.
Counsel, on behalf of your client, do you waive formal reading of the complaint, advisement of rights, including armed forces and veterans' rights, enter a plea of not guilty, denying any and all special allegations, enhancements, and priors?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're requesting a preliminary hearing within the period?
Yes, Your Honor. From the media reports, apparently there have been 4 months of secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date on the 10th day. Your Honor, we believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that.
And that was seemingly to put the prosecutor's feet to the fire, right? What do you have? What's your evidence? There's been a lot of questions swirling over whether, you didn't get a grand jury indictment, right? Is there a weakness in this case? Remember, despite apparently multiple secret grand juries considering this case, evaluating evidence, hearing evidence, for whatever reason, they chose not to indict, or maybe they weren't asked to indict. Could have just been an investigative grand jury or investigative grand juries. Which means now it's up to prosecutors to convince the court in a preliminary hearing that there's enough evidence to move this case towards trial. The defense will have an opportunity to challenge that. But when David's attorneys returned to court yesterday to discuss when a preliminary hearing would happen, they said the original date of Friday, this Friday, was in fact too soon. They haven't had nearly enough time to review the huge amount of evidence to challenge it at a hearing. So this preliminary hearing has been pushed back to May 26th. But that's not even the big news. This is what I have in my hands. Because for the first time, prosecutors are laying out some of the alleged evidence they have against David.
And this is where it gets ugly.
And what they claim they could prove at an eventual trial. And I will warn you right now, the claims in this document are incredibly disturbing. Allegations that he stabbed this 14-year-old girl to death to keep her from revealing that he had been sexually abusing her. That's the allegation. That he allegedly used a chainsaw to cut up her body in an inflatable kiddie pool in the garage. More details regarding this alleged secret, illegal sexual relationship. More importantly, for the prosecution's case, what evidence they have to prove that. And that's what I want to get into. So according to investigators, Celeste was last seen or heard from on April 23rd, 2025, when David, according to prosecutors, sent a ride-share car to pick her up from her hometown of Lake Elsinore and bring her back to the home that he was apparently renting in the Hollywood Hills, a trip of more than 80 miles.
Listen, man. Clearly this nigga ain't bright. He ain't bright. But my question is, do y'all think that was the play? Because why? See, this whole shit makes no sense. But now knowing that it was him doing all shit, it just shows you. Everybody was like, nah, why would somebody kill somebody and put them in front of the house down the street? That's stupid. Nobody would do that. And then you realize he did the shit. But basically they saying he did. And then you like, wait, he's just a dumb motherfucker. This is some shit. And this proves it right here. I'm finna execute somebody. And the last thing, when they track where was this person at, they got an Uber to my house. And I'm the one that ordered it for them. And it was last seen with me. And then their body is found in front of my house. Like, oh yeah, this nigga, he ain't terrible, man.
Prosecutors claim she was exchanging messages with David during this ride. And then she apparently never uses the phone again. Celeste's dismembered body was found months later on September 8th in a Tesla Model X, allegedly registered to David. And according to this filing, the car had been parked on the street just 400 feet from where David was staying, and then it was towed. The manager at the tow yard reported a horrific smell, flies around the front trunk, and that's when authorities discovered Celeste's body. According to this document, it's called the People's Brief regarding preliminary hearing evidence, quote, surveillance video and other evidence confirm defendant, meaning David, was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29th, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. So that's about, what, a month or so before the car was towed and the body was found. It's not clear if anyone else actually moved the car or had any knowledge of what was reportedly inside. I want you to keep that in mind. We're going to talk about it later. There's something in the filing that I thought was really interesting. But it goes on to say, quote, at the tow yard, LAPD detectives opened the Tesla's front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. Inside the bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla.
This nigga kept her fingers, bro. Like, what type of... This is a sick motherfucker, bro.
On September 16, 2025, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department positively identified the body from dental records as belonging to the victim. But this is the part that's new, okay? The filing claims that LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined that Celeste and David met in January of 2022 when she was just 11 years old.
11? Dog, this nigga. 11 years old? You talk to a kid.
That he allegedly began a sexual relationship with Celeste when she was 13. David was 18. And the court paperwork revealed that investigators have been looking into David for quite some time. The filing says detectives learned the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family, who live in Lake Elsinore, in February and April 2024.
All right, because earlier today, I have this guy named AD that said the parents didn't try to do anything. And I said, brother, hold on, you got to get the evidence. Everybody want to rush and say the parents didn't care. The parents didn't care. Bro, they filed a missing report. You mean they didn't care? They're looking for their daughter. What are you talking about? Like, nigga, this is crazy, bro.
RCSD telephonically contacted defendant on February 17, 2024, after they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. During the call, defendant claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th, 2024, but stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. RCSD advised him that Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies would be coming to his home. On that day, defendant was living at 804 North Doheny Place in West Hollywood. RCSD requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at defendant's home. LASD deputies went to defendant's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. Defendant again claimed he was unaware she was a minor and he had only met the victim once in person in November of 2023. However, defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, She returned home 2 days later.
Man, what? This nigga is crazy. So he's sitting here, hey, I didn't know. But you got her yearbook photo. Wait, bro, she's what, 12 years old, 13? What yearbook? What yearbook? What is this, a 6th grade picture, 7th grade picture, 5th grade picture? And you got it on your phone? You got it in your phone? What are you doing with that? Like, this dude really is sick, bruh. Like, you really are fucked up in the head. And the music videos, he was giving you the signs and all that in the music videos, and he really did that shit in real life. But he's so stupid, he left a paper trail that they could easily trace everything. Terrible, man.
By the way, you're seeing how in-depth this investigation was, and maybe kind of gives us an idea of why it took so long for there to be an arrest and for these charges and for the evidence to develop. But remember, prosecutors claim he killed her to keep her quiet about this supposed relationship, to not have her expose him to ruin his career. Just keep that in mind. So the filing continues, quote, despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, defendant continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. Defendant drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so they could stay in contact.
And that's the picture that's been going viral that y'all saw with David and a young boy out there by her home. So they saying this is what he was doing, paying $1,000 to give her the cell phone since her mother and father took her phone away. Even after the police came and said, hey, brother, she's 13 years old. And they let you get away with acting like you didn't know. Yet you still pursued. You kept going. You kept going. Now you're over here. That's what I'm saying. It's a paper trail a mile long on this shit. Everything is in your phone, your Postmates orders, your Uber, pictures of you out here with her. It's crazy.
Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with defendant, including summer weekends at his home in the Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. So now I'm thinking travel records, right? I'm thinking how in-depth this investigation was. And by the way, this is the first time we're hearing just how often Celeste was with.
Now, this goes back to what I was asking, y'all. The goddamn management, your team, your DJ, whoever, you're an artist, you're on the road, you're moving around. You're moving with your road manager, you're moving with one of your friends, you're moving with her clearly. Like, they got to know. I'm sure he's not over there in these places by himself with just him and her. I'm sure you're going with 2-3 other people, and they see that you're walking around with a 13-year-old girl. And they know her. They're probably communicating with her, talking to her, all that type of shit. So they got to know. So what is her stance? Oh, I'm 19. Like, you don't look 19. You don't even look fucking 16. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they had to know. But, you know, if you're a nigga who's getting the money, then you like, I don't want to fuck up my shit. That ain't my business. You feel me? I don't, you know? Crazy.
Allegedly was with this much older man. And it really speaks to how many people were potentially aware that he was maybe in this relationship with a younger girl, right? Members of online forums that David and Celeste were reportedly part of have said they didn't know Celeste was so young, thinking she was David's age. But if she was traveling with him to different places and meeting these people in a circle, did none of them suspect that something was maybe amiss here? I mean, again, assuming these allegations are true. You go back to the filing, quote, text exchanges between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and use of the Plan B emergency contraceptive. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. In November 2024, defendant and the victim broke up, although they continued to communicate, and text messages suggest they also continued to have sexual relations. See, that's the kind of alleged evidence that is incredibly compelling. What separates this from other cases of, let's say, a he said, she said, right? That's the kind of alleged evidence that supports the sex charge, but goes to the special circumstances of killing a witness, right? Remember, to support the special circumstances allegations, which you would get life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder charge or the death penalty, allegedly killing her because she's a witness to this, or allegedly killing her to silence her. It's evidence of this purported sexual relationship that's really problematic, or potentially really problematic for David.
And by the way, I have to tell you, this just came out at the time of this recording. So the death certificate for Celeste, and this is per reporting from TMZ, there's a change. It used to say that she was not pregnant. Now it's saying that section is marked U for unknown. So what is this suggesting? That it was possible she could have been pregnant?
See, that was the plot twist, because they definitely said that she wasn't pregnant. They were saying she wasn't pregnant because the body was so decomposed they couldn't tell. Like, so now they're saying it's a possibility that she was pregnant and she was probably finna come out. That's what it was. Not even a breakup. It was probably, hey, I'm pregnant, nigga. I'm not getting rid of the baby. It was probably that energy. I'm keeping it. And he got a new album coming out. He got a tour coming. And he don't know what to do. He's panicking. You've been a creep for the last 2-3 years. And now reality done caught up to you. And now you can't shake that this young girl's about to have your baby. And the whole world know. So you tried to execute. Well, you did. You executed her. To hush her. Like nobody would care. And then, but the whole part is the leaving the shit in the trunk and all that. Like, I'm telling you, I feel like it was like some mental. He's obviously a weird nigga. I feel like he wanted to keep her body close to him. Because it makes no sense. Who the hell kills somebody just keeps the body in front of their house? Like, he probably was going out to the car and talking to her. Like, fucked up in the head, bro. A sicko.
Not entirely clear.
Per prosecutors, quote, April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, 2025, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationships with other women, as defendant led her to believe they had a future together. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released on April 25th, 2025, so 2 days later. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He also had multiple product endorsements which were highly profitable. I mean, to give you an idea about what was at stake and what the prosecution may use at trial or a preliminary hearing, I mean, we told you in an episode yesterday that after David was arrested on murder and mutilation charges, the video game Fortnite announced it was going to refund players who made David-related purchases in the game, saying in a statement, we hear the concerns. We have a bunch of changes we're rolling out over time. The first one will be available on Tuesday, April 28th, when anyone who purchased one of these items will be able to get an immediate self-service refund. And right now, players who request refunds for David Cosmetics via player support can be refunded.
Yeah, clean this the fuck up. Because this is how he popped. He popped off of Fortnite and making music on Fortnite, and the song popped on Fortnite. Did he meet her through Fortnite? Fortnite, like, hold on, whatever we got to do to wipe our hands clean and stay as far, far away from this as possible. Everybody want refunds? Anybody? Who else needs something? Matter of fact, everybody gets a goddamn refund. Everybody, you know what I mean? Like, they trying to clear this shit up. And then, nigga, like, nobody wants to stand next to this type of shit. That is a sick what has, okay, the label now. That's the one thing. I want to see how the label gonna go about this. Because y'all see how much when R. Kelly did what he did, when Tory Lanez did what he did, oh, nigga, they get his music off Spotify, get off Apple, get off everywhere, take it down. We're not playlisting, we're not putting them. Are they doing that with David? Are they doing that with David? Because this is 10 times worse. It's all bad. All that shit is bad, but this is crazy. Where is that at? I want to see Spotify make it. Hey, all y'all, make it clear his music got to come down. Y'all not supporting him. Keep that same energy.
And according to reporting from the Houston Chronicle, David's song, Locked and Loaded, became the game's first official theme song in 2025. Now he's being canceled across the board. You have companies like Universal Music Group working to remove the songs that he apparently did in collaboration with their artists from streaming platforms. And I say all that because, again, think about what was going on in his life. Think about the height of his career at that time. I have to imagine that prosecutors are going to use this to establish the narrative that he couldn't let Celeste expose him, right? Again, these are just allegations. This is the prosecution's narrative, but you see where they're going. So investigators contend that April 23rd was when Celeste was killed, soon after arriving at that house in the Hollywood Hills. Quote, at approximately 8:40 p.m. on April 23, 2025, defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his residence. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at defendant's Hollywood Hills home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. The people contend this was part of defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. If that's true, that is a quick turnaround from when she arrived to when she was killed, right?
So basically, right when she came in. Oh, you remember they said he lured her to the house. That was the first thing that came out. Remember when they said they got him for luring her to the house? Everybody like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So now we know. He knew he was finna kill her. He didn't waste no time. As soon as she came in, killed her. So that's what they meant by that. Okay, he lured her to the house. Niggas, 20 minutes under 20 minutes being there, he killed her. Sick motherfucker.
And that goes to that premeditation aspect, lying in wait. Quote, knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. At no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to an emergency room to attempt to save her life. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, defendant drove to Santa Barbara County. This is something we've always talked about before. Drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence.
Right.
At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone, asking where she was. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, SR 154, near Lake Cachuma in Santa Barbara County.
And just to give y'all some context to those who don't know, you feel me? He's in Hollywood and he's driving to Santa Barbara, which could be like an hour drive. You know what I mean? Depending on traffic, it could be a little more than that. But he's basically driving an hour away to Santa Barbara. So let me go drive an hour away, get this shit as far as possible for me. But the whole thing he fails to realize, and a lot of these young motherfuckers fail to realize, people, period, you're in a Tesla, bro. You're in a smart car. Like, they track everything. You feel me? So it's tracking your every move. And then if you got your phone synced, if your phone is synced to your goddamn your car, they could track every text you done sent, every call you made. They could track all that shit. They could get all that information out your car.
He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. After April 26, 2025, defendant never attempted to contact her again. Wow. If that's true,
3 days.
That would be strange, right? Because if that's the case and he had no idea what happened to her, wouldn't he be desperately trying to get a hold of her? I think that's an argument that would be put forward by prosecutors. And then the filing gets into the incredibly disturbing details of how David allegedly cut Celeste's body into pieces. Quote, tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember or dispose of the victim's body. On April 24, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates.
1 day after.
On May 1st, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home.
So that's a week after. So this nigga is sitting there with the body, taking his time. So where is the body all this time before he got the chainsaws? If the murder happened on the 23rd and May 1st, so between that time, where was the body all this time? And wasn't nobody coming to his house? Wasn't none of his friends there? Who the fuck lived in that house with him? That's a question that we have yet to be answered. Who else lived in that house? Was he just there by himself? Did he have a roommate? These are young niggas, bro. They got homies that be over. Y'all niggas with a big house in Hollywood, they for sure gonna have homies that's hanging out. You're not just there by yourself. So where was you keeping his body when people was coming over? Because it ain't cut up yet. This nigga's a sick nigga, man.
May 5th, 2025, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. Wow. He made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. On May 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st, 2025. This is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. Additionally, on July 7th, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. We've talked about that before with Steve Fisher, the private investigator. Quote, moreover.
Listen, who the fuck? This is, okay, now it all makes sense, right, y'all? When everybody asking, like, the car thing, it kind of throws you off. Who the fuck would leave a body in front of the car? Who the fuck would leave a body? Who would do something that stupid? Who would? Now, all this is making sense now, right? You see the paper trail he left behind, going to the boy, paying $4,000 to give her the phone after the fact, letting him take a picture of him doing it, boom. Getting her an Uber. They're having an argument and via text. She's telling you, I'm going to expose you. His album's going to come out. That's motive. Boom. And let alone they find out she was pregnant at the time. That's crazy. Now, you would say, damn, nobody would fucking order somebody about to kill an Uber. He did. Nobody would order a shovel the next day. He did. Nobody would order 2 chainsaws a week later. He did. Nobody would order a burn cage. Like, bro, you ordering all the shit you ordered a body bag. Who the fuck orders a body bag? You ordered a body bag to come to your house after ordering 2 chainsaws. Then you ordered a burn cage. Bro, what? And the crazy part is you was driving around with the body to Santa Barbara. But what was it when you was going out there? You went out there twice. What was it that made you, like, you obviously dropped her body somewhere because they found her ID. You took the body out, but then you put it back in the car twice. What is that about? I'm telling y'all, I guarantee it's gonna be some mental shit. This nigga can't let her go. He wants to be near her, like he's sick in the fucking head. Cause who the fuck goes out somewhere to throw somebody's body away twice and don't do it, and then you keep the body in the house, keep it in your car?
Defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to match a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool
Oh my God.
Purchased by defendant in May 2025.
So there goes the answer to what the blue shit was they was talking about. The pool that he cut her body up in. Oh, that he ordered. Yeah. It's over. I know his legal team is like, what the fuck are we finna say? What would you do, right? If you David's legal team and you believe him that he didn't do it, that he didn't do nothing, right? Well, I didn't do nothing. What y'all talking about? And then you like, all right, when they go, like, hey, let's get this trial popping. We're 100% confident he's not guilty. And they say, okay, y'all want to move? Y'all want to start next week? Let's do it. All right, cool. And then they present all this. How do you think his legal feels? Like, holy shit. Damn. We're going to show you that we got, nigga, concrete evidence that he did this. He ordered this. They're going to have to try to find every way to get this up off him. They're going to have to put it on somebody. Who is that somebody they're going to put it on? The homeboy? The Asian homeboy? Like, his legal team, woo, they got some work cut out for their ass. This is a sick nigga, man.
In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers have not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. Let me stop right there. As you can see, prosecutors are going to claim they have digital evidence, forensic evidence, purchase history to all support this. I have to imagine this will be challenged by the defense with their own experts. And if there's certain items of evidence, body parts that are missing, they'll try to make room for reasonable doubt. But it's really, you're seeing now how they are building this case and what they've been doing. I mean, Steve Fisher talked about, what was it, like 54 search warrants were issued in this case. And this, by the way, is all important because we always wondered, did David have help, right? This is a monumental alleged task, allegedly done by a 20-year-old singer by himself.
By himself. My question, the one question I got is why 2 chainsaws? Right? If you did a crime and you want to get rid of somebody and you want to go get a chainsaw, you're going to go buy one. Who buys 2 chainsaws? Unless you got somebody else help you. 2 chainsaws?
But I will tell you, the filing does make you question if maybe, you know what? Maybe he did allegedly act alone. The filing states that David, quote, lied to friends, business associates, and others about the strong smell of decay in and around the home and the car. When LAPD served the search warrant at the house after Celeste was identified, they reportedly found all sorts of evidence in the garage to support dismemberment, including biological evidence that tested positive for blood. They say it matched the victim's unique genetic profile, as well as the inflatable pool, which had these multiple, quote, linear cuts. And I want to go through the list of evidence that the state provides, which it says will be able to present at trial to prove David's guilt. Again, allegations, but let me go through this. And by the way, photos and videos of some of that evidence was released on X by private investigator Steve Fisher, who's been on this case from the beginning. He was hired by the owner of the Hollywood Hills home that David was apparently renting, who had a lot of questions about just what was going on at this property when Celeste's body was found, and the Tesla was allegedly connected back to the singer. But since then, I've spoken with Steve many times about what he's been able to uncover, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But back to this evidence list. First, quote, the description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity when she was 13, as this evidence constitutes child sexual abuse material. The photographs themselves will not be presented. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed, the CSAM is proof of their ongoing sexual relationship while the victim was 13 and 14 years old. I also do wonder if you're looking at potential federal charges here. Quote, numerous text messages between defendant and the victim evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, use of Plan B, emergency contraception. Messages through March 2025 prove defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, all we do is have sex and just hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself.
13 years old. All we do is have sex and just hang out. So he's just using a 13-year-old for sex, bro. Like, and a cold motherfucker got nerve to have other women on the side, right? So what about the other women? That's what now raises the question. Are these young girls too? They said she found out about his other women. So are they young girls too? That's the part they haven't really expressed. And they say she found out he had other women. Is he doing this like his thing, just young girls, little girls that he met on Fortnite, that he groomed, and he has money now to fund shit to get them to fly them places and fly them? Like, what's to say he hasn't done a lot of sick shit with other little girls? Like, this is a off the hinge, sick ass nigga, man. He clearly don't give no fucks. He don't give a fuck. His actions show that he does not care. And I don't think it's the fact of not caring on some like egotistical shit. I think he's just dumb. I think he's just, we're giving him more credit like he's a smart nigga. I think he's just a flat out dumb motherfucker who just happened to have money.
These messages were obtained from defendant's iCloud data. Defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from defendant's iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate defendant's activities from April 22nd, 2025 to April 24th, 2025, including a trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. Surveillance video of defendant driving his Tesla on July 29, 2025 for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. So Steve Fisher shared the surveillance video after the hearing on X, reportedly showing the Tesla one of the last times it was driven. It's believed that Celeste's dismembered remains were inside that front trunk. And the list of potential evidence continues, quote, DNA evidence developed from blood stains collected from defendant's garage which matched the victim's genetic profile, proof of defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, a burn cage after April 24th, 2025. Steve also shared photos of some of these alleged packages. You can see the deliveries are addressed to Victoria Mendez. Not clear why David would allegedly use that particular name. Quote, proof of defendant's purchase and delivery from Postmates of a shovel from Home Depot to his home on April 24th, 2025. Uber records showing defendant's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick up the victim from her Lake Elsinore home and transport her to his residence the night of April 23rd, 2025. Proof of defendant's lucrative career as a singer-songwriter prior to April 23rd, 2025. Defendant had an album release party on the night of April 24th, 2025 before.
Wow. So this nigga, that is crazy. You just killed this girl. You wake up the next day and you have a radio interview after just killing this girl, going to Santa Barbara, try to get rid of the body, which you kept, brought the body back home. You had to take the body back in the house, or did you leave it in the car? No, they said they were smelling something in the house. People were smelling shit in the house. So he left the body in the house. He checked it out the car, brought it back home, and then woke up. Let me go knock out this radio interview, then go to a release party and celebrate, all while knowing you just did this. That nigga is crazy. But my question is, who knew? Because you're going overseas with this little girl, and they had to be like, hey, where's she at? Hey, where's Celeste? If y'all go on tour together, if y'all build a bond, like the people that you're with, if y'all together for 4 or 5 days, by the end of the 4 or 5 days, y'all all gonna know each other, right? You know, that's just, we're together, we're moving around, we're gonna do radio, whatever if you're going out there for work, we're gonna do radio, we're doing shows. By the time we go home, you know, okay, you're gonna establish, oh, that's his girl or whatever, not knowing her age. I get that if you're saying you don't know her age. All right, cool. Even though she looks 13. But there had to be a question like, hey, where's the Celeste girl you always with? You walk in the house and you smelling a dead body. This isn't like a dead, old burger or something sitting in the trash. This is a dead body. Y'all ever smelled a dead body? Like, this is a dead body. That shit is potent. That nigga house had to stink. Like, death stinks, bro. So it's like, people come in the house, they had to know, like, bro, what the fuck? Oh, it's probably something in the wall. He's so sick, he probably saying this shit in the wall or something.
Or embarking on an international tour in late July 2025. Text message exchanges between defendant and the victim on April 22nd and April 23rd, 2025, where the victim threatened to expose defendant and destroy his career. The prosecution has issued numerous subpoenas and is prepared to proceed with the preliminary hearing. Now, as I mentioned before, the court, again, decided to push this back to May 26th, and the delay was frustrating for a lot of people, including Steve Fisher. He's been very vocal on social media about what seemed to be a lack of transparency, a slow investigation on the part of authorities. Remember, David wasn't arrested until 1 year after, when prosecutors believe Celeste was killed. She was last seen or heard from in April 2025. Her body was found in the Tesla in September, and then David was taken into custody, 10 days ago? So yesterday, after the delay, he tweeted, quote, from the David hearing continued until May 26th, the speedy preliminary was a bluff by the defense. The game of hide the ball from the public has started. The judge agreed to put a protective order on the search warrants and affidavits, as well as the grand jury transcripts. So much for an open and transparent system. David's defense even asked for a simple brief to be sealed. After running the worst PR campaign in history the last 7 months, not coming out with a single statement supporting their client, the defense now thinks the public will form a poor opinion of their client if the public sees any of the discovery. His lawyers seem more like publicists than criminal trial litigators. Hashtag Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, I had a chance to speak with Steve, as well as certified death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan, last night on my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live, and they talked more about these alleged grisly details. Take a listen.
We did find a chainsaw. We found a burn cage, and we knew that they were ordered in the name of this Victoria Mendez. we disclosed that it was, in a fake name, and but we didn't know if that was a real person or not. However, all these things, and there was more things that were delivered to the house in that name, and we couldn't get past the chainsaw or the burn cage. Just there was no reasonable use to have it there.
I've had a couple of cases involving chainsaws over the course of my career, and I'll just put it to you this way: the deposition of tissue and blood, because with a regular handsaw, you would just you might get a little tissue, you're gonna have a lot of blood. This is going to sling actual tissue everywhere. And so the idea that this could be cleaned up completely, there's no way.
Absolutely horrific to think about. And I will just say our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts are really going out to Celeste's family at this time. We've all been, demanding answers, but to finally learn some of these gruesome alleged details about what purportedly happened to their loved one, that's a different kind of torture, right? And the teen's family has not yet spoken publicly about the case per se. They did release a statement through their attorney after David's arrest saying, "We would like to thank the Los Angeles Police Department and the District Attorney's Office for their hard work. We would also like to thank the people of Lake Elsinore for all their support. Celeste was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night, and we spent wonderful times together. We love her very much, and she always told us that she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste." And I also spoke with Steve for an episode of Sidebar yesterday to get his take on the dozens of search warrants reportedly filed in this case I mentioned before, but take a look. Let me ask you this, 54, 55 search warrants, is that unusual? I mean, that seems like a lot. And why, how specific do you think each one was? What do you think they were for?
Well, you definitely are going to have, Apple with iCloud and his individual devices. I can tell you that he does have a lot of actual devices, a lot of phones. And then you're going to have Google and stuff like that. But there was a search warrant issued as late as April 20th, so after his arrest. And there was another one that looks like it falls on like the 5th or the 6th of April. So they were issuing search warrants right up. I think there was a total of 7 that I saw that were issued in 2026.
Do you think that's something he had on him at the time of the arrest or something at the property where he was arrested?
I think they probably had some sort of, I think that when they arrested him, they cataloged, what was there, and then they got a warrant immediately, kind of like they did with the car originally. They went there, they verified that there was a smell in the car, they immediately got a search warrant to enter the car. Probably the same thing. And Beth alluded to that, actually. She said that she didn't know at the time if there was going to be significance from those returns or not.
Question. So clearly, this is guilt for sure. He know he did the shit. But he has so much time, 7 months. What do y'all think he was doing this whole 7 months? Clearly, he's not smart. So we're not going to give him that. Like, he's smart and I wonder, did he still, these sick motherfuckers, they continue to do sick shit. So did he, find another girl and still continue to talk to another girl and act like he didn't do it in his head? Yeah, I saw a picture where they were saying y'all saw when it was like a wrapped up finger backstage. He was on camera with a finger unwrapping it. And they were saying it was like somebody's finger he had. I'm like, who the hell walks around with somebody's finger? Even if it was supposed to be an old mythological person's finger. Like, who walks around with somebody's finger? And they were saying, oh, that's Celeste's finger. And now I'm like, damn, that could have been. He ain't the brightest crayon in the box. That could have been her finger. And he was on camera showing it. This nigga's, oh my God, man. I know the parents got to be like, shit. Imagine this being y'all. Imagine that being y'all daughter. Condolences to the family. That's fucked up. Hearing that, having to hear the way that she went out. But then, imagine the parents. You raised this sick nigga. It's a sick nigga. People gonna look at you crazy. Your son did some. What should happen to him, y'all? What should happen?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that those warrants also include materials possessed by other individuals that are not David?
Certainly, I definitely think there's going to be at least cloud type of data, other Facebook account or Instagram accounts, Meta, let's call it. iCloud. They specifically leaned into iCloud a lot. They said that there was over 10 terabytes of data from one iCloud account.
Hey.
So, which, listen, I can kind of see the guy's a musician. He's probably got a ton of music, ton of video, raw video, and everything backed up there. But it's still a massive account. I know I've heard reports of them saying 10 terabytes of child porn. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a 10 terabyte account. Yes, I think others are wrapped up in this. I think all his inner circle people have had all their accounts subject to search warrant, probably their social media accounts, and including his management.
I'm glad you mentioned, I mean, this is something we talked about previously. Prosecutors say he was in possession of child pornography. We don't know if it was allegedly of Celeste or someone else, but that was interesting and made me wonder if there could be federal charges on the horizon for him. Real quick, if they unseal these search warrants, you, me, everyone's going to be able to see them?
We'll be able to see who they were served upon, and we'll be able to see what the return was. Not saying the data, but the return filed by the police saying we recovered, this account, data from this account, whatever. We'll see on a general basis, and we'll see who it was served upon, what they were looking for, and what the probable cause was. But just going to be the real tell in this thing, what the probable cause was to get the search warrant.
Do y'all think he told somebody, or do y'all think he was taking this to the grave? Do y'all think he shared with one person at least, hey, man, I did something stupid? Even if it's his parents. Do y'all think he shared with his parents, I did something stupid? Or his homeboy. His homeboy definitely, he's doing this right now in the press. He ain't associating with bro. He called him stupid. He's calling him an idiot. He's calling him names. He's trying to disassociate himself. But was you there while all this was transpiring? Clearly, y'all got nobody else. They're not showing David with nobody else in pictures besides him. It's pictures of David with Celeste, and then it's David and the agent guy. So you was clearly close to him. So did he share it with you? That's what they probably check his phone, got a search warrant for that guy's phone, see if they could find some shit. Not saying they did, but do y'all think that he knew?
So I encourage you to check out that full interview. It's up right now on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. We'll, of course, continue to follow this case, bring you any updates as soon as we learn them.
Damn, man, that's crazy. Yeah. It's a sick one right here, man. It's a sad situation, man, and to hear these gruesome details of how she was executed, and like they say, man, had her come to the house in less than 20 minutes, killed her. You literally lured her, like they said. Y'all having an argument? Hey, just come over here. I want to see you. Let's talk in person. Come on. I'm going to send you an Uber. They said it was 8:30 at night. This is a school night, if anything, she's a little girl. It's a school night. It was what, a Wednesday or some shit? It's 8:30 at night. Who the hell is Ubering a little kid at 8:30 at night on a school night? She got to be here, whatever. Who's Ubering a little kid, period? But this is a school night. And she's so vulnerable. She's a kid. She's vulnerable. She fucking came over there and got delivered to her death. And then you wake up and go to a radio interview and then go celebrate that same night, that next night. You're going to go celebrate. You know how fucked up in the head you got to be to know you just did some shit like that? And then be comfortable enough to just maneuver like ain't nothing wrong. And then on top of that, to go on tour. I'm out of here. And before I go, let me go move the car 400 yards away from my house. 400 yards. Let me go park this motherfucker. I'll be back. I'm telling y'all, he had an attachment to the dead body. It got to be some crazy shit. I'll be back. I'm only going to be gone for 2 months, and I'll see you when I get back. He probably sick in the head like that. I'm telling you, this nigga is Nah, man. So what should happen here, man? They talking about the death penalty is a possibility. They may have to bring back the death penalty for this situation. Should they bring it back, or is that too much? Let me know what y'all think should happen, man. I'm going to give y'all 2 seconds to smash the like. And as always, get ready for the next reaction.